I'll be honest, I'm absolutely terrible at hardcore. But this time is different, okay? Not only am I confident that this hardcore world will surpass 10,000 days, but I genuinely believe this world could be the greatest world I have ever created. And I want you to be a part of it. So stick around because today, history begins. Just over a month ago, I created my first hardcore Minecraft world, and let's just say it didn't go so well. This time, while I do still want to do a lot of large builds, I also really want to focus on the story. For this reason, today I want to start a tradition. In every video, I want to make an entry in what I'm calling the Traveler's Guide. Essentially, this guide is going to be a collection of sorts, containing every single build and significant location in my world, along with the story related to it. I want this to be something that gets filled out while working on the project. And I plan to make this a section in every single video we build something new. So essentially every video. However, we're not building anything right this minute, so I suppose we'll come back to this a little later in the video. Well, now that you know about that, I suppose we should go see what Little Me's been up to. Alright, hey everybody. So I was just on my way back to World Spawn after that little mining session, and you will not believe what I found. A natural pink sheep. I am 100% bringing this guy with me. He'll have to stay with us in the starter house. Now, I guess I gotta go ahead and take this fella back, and then once I get there, let's go ahead and talk about the mining loot and the plan for the base. Okay. World Spawn was over here somewhere, so we're on the other side of it. Got our pink sheep in a hole with a few other sheep. And from that mining trip, we got 19 diamonds, a few music discs, and just, normal random Minecraft stuff. Now it is time to go ahead and start working on the base. But I've got a small issue. For this base, I need quite a few resources, but I can get those. They're not too difficult. The issue here is I need dripstone, and I need moss, glowberries, and a spore blossom. So all these items I need from the caves, which is where we just were, and we didn't find any of them at all. So I was just going through my world map. I set it to cave mode and was playing around. According to this, maybe 3 chunks in front of me, if I dig down at Y level -4, there is a dripstone cave right here. And it looks like there might be a spawner there as well. Also, it turns out there's a trial chamber right below me. And if you watched the last hardcore series, you would know that I'm definitely not going to be getting anywhere near that. What I'm going to do is make a shovel. And I guess I'm going to dig down into the dripstone cave, get the dripstone. And then I'll have to do... Oh, bet. There's a lush cave over here. Huge lush cave over here. After I get that dripstone, I guess I'm gonna have to come all the way over here into the lush cave. I mean, it's gonna be a little bit of a walk, but it shouldn't actually be all that bad. I hope. Alright, I guess let's go ahead and sleep, and then we're going down to the dripstone cave. Alright, well, I'm starting to hear some zombies. Oh. Ooh, more diamonds. That's pretty good. Okay, so we found the cave. I see the dripstone over there. Now we just gotta get down there safely and not die to all of that. Alright, I got it. You ready? This is the strat. We're going to drop down here and just run around and spam torches. Go, go, go. This is a terrible strategy, but you know what? It's working so far. Alright, you know what? This might actually be a Ooh, a mine shaft down here as well. Oh, that might be a cave spider. I don't really want to deal with those. All right, you know what? The strategy seemed stupid, but this is actually a pretty solid strategy. I only need like 20 dripstone blocks, so let's just go ahead and real hastily try to mine up some of these. Okay, yeah, this strategy worked great, to be honest. No real issues here. And then, if I'm not mistaken, there was a spawner in here. And according to the map, that spawner is somewhere over here. Ooh, geode. I kind of want a spyglass. I should stop in there as well. And there's some diamonds. All right, this ain't bad. I do have to be careful, though. I still only have iron armor. Okay, yeah, this worked perfectly. Okay, there is the mob spawner. Please be something good. Oh, it's really good, actually. Skeletons are easily the best mob spawner possibility. And can I get a saddle? That would be fantastic. You have no idea how badly I want a saddle. All right, no saddle, but you know what? This worked out perfectly. Let's go ahead and get out of here. And now I just need to go ahead and find my way over to that lush cave. Well, I'm on my way to go get that stuff I need from the lush cave. And look what I just happened to find. Very nice. I'm definitely going to have to go ahead and grab a few saplings. Ah, things are starting to come together. Ooh, look at that. We even got dark oak over there. All right, maybe I go grab some of that as well. Lovely, lovely, lovely. All right, I'm approaching -4. Should be falling in right now by the looks of it. Into the lush cave we go. Get a few glowberries. Might as well grab some drip leaf while we're here. A few more glowberries. Definitely need some azalea. Grab some moss. Just gonna grab a little bit of everything, and then we're gonna head back home. All right, I got some drip leaves, both azalea bushes, which is definitely going to need a little bit of both of those. And I got about a stack of moss. Now I just need to go ahead and grab these spore blossoms. And I should be good to get out of here now. All right, well, I managed to get out of there with a good amount of stuff, 8 whole spore blossoms, and I even found 6 more diamonds. I could have got a few more spore blossoms, but it was around that point that I realized I was completely out of food, and I really don't feel like starving to death. So, you know, that was my cue to leave. Although now I'm pursuing a shipwreck. So, I mean, all right, nice. We even got a little bit more stuff. Now I just got to go ahead and find my way all the way back to world spawn, which only about 800 blocks. Shouldn't be too bad, especially not by boat. Hey, look at that. We even have a mushroom island right by world spawn. This might be one of the best world spawns I've ever seen. Every single wood type besides like acacia seems to be relatively close. Beautiful mountains, and we even have a mushroom island. Absolutely incredible. All right, well, back here at the base, I'm just laying out a little bit of copper for the build. And once we get the rest of this copper laid out, I'm gonna have to go get a few more resources, starting with deep slate. And to get that deep slate, I'm simply going to head back down into this cave that we went into for the dripstone, which was somewhere around here. There it is. All right, now just to collect a little bit of deep slate. Now I can get some spruce wood. Then I needed a little bit of dark oak, a couple of vines, and finally some bamboo. All right, back up here at world spawn area. Got all of those resources collected up, and I'm ready to start building, finally. So I guess let's go ahead and kick into a time lapse, shall we? All right then, that is it everybody. The house is now completed. Taking a step back to look at it, let's turn on shaders. It's nothing special by any means, and it's not supposed to be anything special by any means. You see, the backstory to this build really is not all that interesting, but we'll get more to that when we make our entry into the Traveler's Guide. Until then, I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about our next steps. Now, before I go ahead and focus on the interior of this build, I really want to go ahead and add a few more builds to the area, starting with a really nice tree. So what we're going to do right now is collect a few more leaves, and then we're going to build a tree. After that tree is built, we will then talk about some of the other builds I want to put in the area today. Only once all of that is completed will we then discuss the house, why it's built the way it is, and the backstory behind this area. Alright, well, let's get some leaves and build a tree. Alright, so I've gone ahead and built up that tree as you saw, and I absolutely love it. But there is this swing right here, and it's missing something. So using a handy dandy data pack, the Vanilla Tweaks data pack, we can go ahead and modify ourselves an armor stand to permanently be sitting here on the swing. Now to do this, I'm going to need to set up my book and quill. So now I'm going to go ahead and position this guy, and then I'll bring you guys back once he is finally all ready to go. Alright, well, I think that's going to do it for this first armor stand. And yes, I did say first, we are going to be setting up another one. However, before I can go ahead and set up another one, I think we need to zoom out a little bit and just take a look at the area here. So we have our rundown house, which again, we'll get into the backstory for in a little bit here. But then we have this tree all the way down here with one of the residents of the house in it. We need a way to not only connect these two builds, but bring this area a little bit more to life. So right now I am envisioning a windy path coming all the way down here to the tree from the house. Right here I want to put in a cow farm because it took me quite a little while to get the leather. It took me like 25 minutes to get the leather to make that armor right there. Also, for enchanting table purposes, leather would be very useful. And then I would also like to set up a wheat farm, because I would like to make this path out of mud. Mud's a bit expensive, you know, you need wheat, and I don't have anywhere near enough wheat to make a path that large. So what I'm going to do right now is set up the path and the wheat farm and this cow farm, and I'm going to go ahead and set up just some other like foliage bits, try and decorate the area a little bit. And then, once all of that is done, we will be able to go ahead and set up another armor stand, and then make our entry into the Traveler's Guide. I guess I gotta go ahead and get to work. The field is now completed. As I'm sure you'll notice, I didn't actually end up building a cow pen or pretty much anything that I said I was going to do. I instead just built the path like I said I would, and then just made a giant wheat farm. Now, for those of you wondering why did I decide to only do a giant wheat field, well, I figured that it was probably better just to do wheat here because A, it's really pretty. Look at all this. but also because I intend to make a ginormous kingdom over this entire area. So of course I'm going to need a farming area to do a bunch of farming. So that would of course include keeping animals, growing wheat, other crops. Why would I put all of it in one tiny area when I could end up having it span this entire area right here? Pretty much I could make more decorative buildings and just have it look nicer by spreading it out. So what I decided to do is I just went ahead and made this a giant wheat farm. And I think you'll have to agree with me, it's absolutely beautiful. And when we put on our shaders, it is absolutely magnificent. Now from down here, as you'll see, the scale, the tree is bigger, the house all the way up on top of the hill looks a lot smaller. But I feel like I need to add another tree right here, probably a medium-sized tree or a bit smaller, just to mess with the scale. I want it to look smaller than this tree so that it looks farther back, which it will be. But I also need to look a tad bit larger than the house because, you know, it's a bit closer up. Pretty much I'm trying to do a little tactic here. I want to frame the house. So I want to make it, when you're looking at this from a distance, it's like perfectly framing the house and the scale and everything is accurate. So I don't want to make a giant tree, but I can't have it be too small. And I think I figured out how to do that. I think I have a tree that I can put there. But before we do that, I did tell you guys I was going to make another armor stand, and well, I did. Here he is. Dude's got some work pants on, got his black boots, sitting in the garden working with the flowers and whatnot. Also, in that time lapse, I am sorry, it did cut off when I started actually tilling the ground and planting the wheat. I paused the recording to go eat lunch, and when I came back, I didn't unpause the recording, so I completed all of this and didn't have any recording to show for it. Sorry, that's my bad, but it won't happen again, I promise. All right, I promise. Yeah, this is just absolutely beautiful with the shaders. Also, I just want to real quickly mention, I put berry bushes under these windows, so now if a mob walks into them, they'll take damage, and they can't jump through the window. Also, their pathfinding just shouldn't allow them to walk into them, so I put them under every single window that was open. Ideally, I should be safe inside of my house now. I shouldn't have to worry about zombies or mainly creepers jumping through my window and walking in. Skeletons could still be an issue, I suppose. Like, they could just stand on the path and shoot me, but that's something I'm willing to deal with. I just was not willing to deal with creepers walking through my windows. That would have been absolutely awful. Alright, enough talk. I've shown you the beautiful field. I showed you my little dude there. Let's go ahead and build this tree, and then we can go ahead and make our first entry into the Traveler's Guide. Alright, now just gonna go ahead and finish putting in the final details. Looking pretty good. And then finally, we have to actually go ahead and put in some birds. So do I have... Nope. I need a birdie. I want the red one. Here we go. So now I just gotta push him onto the pressure plate, which is supposed to be like a little bird nest. And there we go. Then I did bring a second pressure plate, so I can add another bird nest somewhere. I also have another diorite slab. Maybe I could go ahead and add one right over here, actually. Right here, maybe the branch is sticking out a little bit more. There's no leaves on the edge. Put the pressure plate, and now I just gotta get the other bird up there. I just need you to stay right there. All right, there we go. Break down all of our scaffolding, and there we go. There is our second tree. Now this one is nothing special. It's not like the first one where we have the swing and it's like really beautiful. It's just a small tree. It's my first ever attempt at a custom birch tree, actually, and I think it turned out all right. It's just supposed to add a little bit of color and, most importantly, a little bit of scale. So when we zoom out and look at the build from like here, this smaller tree is kind of playing with the scale, making it look like the house is actually a bit farther back than it actually is. it just kind of makes the build look a little bit better. And hopefully, once we have buildings down here, when you're looking up from all the way down here in the village, that scale will kind of work to make the build look a little bit more dynamic. All right, well, now that we have the building done, we have our starter house completed, we have this giant, beautiful farm, our birch tree, our oak tree, I think it is finally time to go ahead and make our first entry into the Traveler's Guide. So, without any further ado, let's open our Traveler's Guide, where we are met with a rough outlined drawing of the house, along with a map of the surrounding area. Now, time for some important details and some storytelling. Obviously, I can't tell you all of this build story without spoiling future plans, but I'll share what I can. This is, of course, my starter house. It's an old, run-down, beat-up house that's been in this family for generations. Located on the outskirts of town, this home is where Jill and her son David live. They farm off the land around them to survive, and they sell off any excess to the village people for cash to be able to repair the house, buy farm equipment, stuff like that. This land was actually purchased by David's great-great-grandfather, who had built this house by himself, actually. Now, of course, you're probably wondering, well, where is David's father? David's father, Richard, has unfortunately passed away, and I can't get into the details too much about that without spoiling some future story or future build projects. So with that, we can now finish our entry into the Traveler's Guide for episode 1. Well, believe it or not, that is actually everything that I had planned for the first episode of this new hardcore world. So, unfortunately, that is going to be the end of this very first episode. Please let me know what you all think of the Traveler's Guide idea down in the comments below. I would love to know what y'all's opinion on the Traveler's Guide is. The Traveler's Guide does take quite a lot more effort to make than I thought it would. I would just like to know if it's really worth my time. Also, be sure to let me know down below any thoughts you might have for this world, because I have ideas, but maybe you have some cooler ideas that I would totally love to borrow. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you all come back for the next episode, because I'm going to finally do something that I have been dreaming about doing in Minecraft for like the last 2 years. It should be a whole lot of fun. So that's going to be it for today's episode, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Goodbye.